I say, get your loosey gooseys out. Shake
I
it off.
will. Yeah, so we're gonna do individual interviews for each of you guys. So you're gonna have your own interview, and then they can be able to use that as well on their own YouTubes and all that and stuff. And my name is MSS. It's two S's.
MSS.
MSS. But the artists will be able to have full access to these, right? So we can share it for you too.
Yep.
I want a rack. That's right. But
Well, it's a 1U rack, so you can put two of them in right here. It's 1U. It doesn't have one.
I don't need to. But I feel that. You're not wrong.
Put it in.
I can't believe he dropped it.
So, is that
Let
right?
me shut up. Y'all.
Ma'am.
So
Man, oh man.
I will get ready to play my theme song.
Okay. Is he here?
Oh wait, I should sit down? What's going
Yeah,
on?
you can sit down. I got you. Don't worry. You're gonna be good. You're gonna be good. I promise. It's all about you. It's all about you. So I will bring this closer to you.
I make lip gloss.
All right. So I'm gonna get ready to start. A few ticks here. You ready?
Yeah,
All right.
I do this.
All right.
Miss Oregon.
I don't worry about being perfect. I leave that to the model bitches.
Say again.
Don't worry about being perfect.
No, don't worry about being perfect.
I
It's-
just hope that.
the reason why, so it's always unscripted, and the reason why I do unscripted podcasts and interviews is because I want that authentic person. I don't want scripted crap. I want all your answers right here, right now. That's what people want to see. That's how. All right. All right. So we're about to bring it in. What's good, good people? It is Jay Glass, The Movement, with another episode of the Family Bloodline Podcast. And today, we're here with a special guest, Miss Oregon. Generally speaking, I would have my soundboard and we would give you rounds of applause. But since I don't have that, I will give you rounds of applause. Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's wonderful that we were able to actually run into each other today, and you have a little time to actually be interviewed. So we spoke
Thank you.
very briefly in a room across the hallway, and you were telling me about yourself. Rehash that for me. Who are you? What do you do? Where are you from? Who's your family? All the other good stuff.
So my name is Miss Oregon. I'm from Portland, Oregon, born and
All right.
raised. And I'm here at 101 Recording with my brother, who's also a super awesome artist and engineer, your boy J-Dub. And he's here with his crew as well of artists that you guys are all going to get to meet because dope people brought me here. And
For sure.
I just keep meeting more dope people. So I'm the founder of the National Cannabis Diversity Awareness Convention. I'm the first African-American female in U.S. history to create a National Cannabis Convention from scratch. And I do an event associated, it's called Meet the Plug. We're on our 5th year. And I connect music artists, basically Meet the Plug. I connect music artists to opportunities to get themselves further into the music industry, the education they need, access to making sure their paperwork's right before they release albums, things like that. And then also connect them into the fashion industry, get them placements on runway shows, and then also into the cannabis industry, helping get cannabis product placements in their music videos or sponsorships for different things that they have going on. So just being a plug, I'm plugged to the plugs, plug to music artists. Yeah, I'm the lady plug.
All right. So here's a question, because you actually told me a second ago that y'all were just in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
What was happening down in Atlanta?
So this past summer, I did an event called Meet the Plug. And Quality Control Music was at the event and spoke to our audience and educated them, as well as held a 2-day. We held a 2-day event, and on one of the days we did a showcase.
Those are the good brothers that's walking out behind you right now, right?
We did a 2-day event, and on one of the days, there was a showcase, and an artist named Swiggle Mandela won the music showcase. And there was a prize for that artist where they got to be flown all the way to Atlanta by Quality Control Music, Mr. Two Official, and got to have a studio session in Atlanta and then I took it an extra step because I take everything extra step and connected that artist to the Coalition DJs. And we hit up the Coalition DJs anniversary weekend and went to all their stuff and hung out with them. And DJ Filthy Rich was one of my sponsors for that.
Okay.
And so they made sure that we were involved with everything that the Coalition DJs did. And all the Coalition DJs were able to get a hold of the artists that came with me's music so we could blast their music out there to all the DJs. It's over 300 DJs.
Oh, wow.
And
that's huge.
Yeah, so just putting on, we putting on. That's what
For
we
sure.
do. So that's what we were doing in Atlanta, and I came straight from Atlanta to here to be here for this.
And you said that's an annual thing?
Meet the Plug is an annual thing, as well as the Coalition DJs anniversary weekend.
Okay, so before we go too much further, how, if anyone wanted to reach out to you in order to actually say, how I want to be a part of this somehow, some way, how would they be able to find you? How can they do that?
On my website, diversifycannabis.org. And, then also you can find me on Instagram at MSS_Oregon. You can find me everywhere, MSS_Oregon. If you Google Miss Oregon, I come up right with the beauty pageant girls.
All right. So what was the move to get you into cannabis, and how long did it actually take you to get there and to reach where you are now? And what would be your advice to other people who are trying to get into that industry as well?
You know, the racism, honestly, in my city is what made me start doing my own thing. Being in Portland, Oregon, everywhere I go, I was the only Black girl. Every time I go to events, only Black girl. And I noticed that, like, when Black folks in Portland try to throw parties and give away cannabis or have fun, just having social consumption, it would get shut down or we get in trouble. But the white folks are allowed to kind of just do whatever they want. And I realized that I had a little more access and privilege than some of my counterparts and people that I hang out with. So I just started throwing my own parties, and I created a business called Diversify Portland. And I didn't ask permission for shit.
That's right.
I just started doing things to the point to where the mayor called me in for a meeting and wanted to know about the National Cannabis Diversity Awareness Convention. And when I created it, how come I didn't reach out to the state of Oregon or to the city? And I knew that they would take it from me, and I wouldn't be able to say that I was the first one to do it. So yeah,
indeed,
the city would have definitely took that over so they could have the credit for that. And so, you know, I just wanted to be able to have the access points. I realized, like, there's just too many people locked up that are Black for the cannabis prohibition, and there's too many people that are getting money, and there's just a lot of people that are uneducated and don't know simple. Well, I don't want to say simple because it's not simple. I'm sorry, I'm super nerdy. So to me, terpene profiles, endocannabinoid system, those things to me are things that are, to me, simple. But like when you go into a dispensary and someone says, do you want indica or sativa? That's miseducation, because an indica plant is, you know, it's short and fat, and a sativa plant's tall and skinny. And that's the difference between the two. An indica plant is not going to make you sleepy, and a sativa plant's not going to wake you up. There's terpene profiles, and your terpenes is where you get the taste, the flavor, and your effects. It's not from the name of the plant. So you could go in there and say, someone's like, I don't like sativas because they make me paranoid. It's not the sativa plant. It's a terpene, most likely pinene. And pinene can make you feel paranoid, make your heart beat really fast, but you can get that in an indica plant or hybrid. So if you think you're avoiding it, you know, until they actually put the terpene profiles on the plants that we buy out of the stores, and you don't know what kind of effects that plant's going to have. You can't just say it's indica, so it's going to relax me. Because again, the indica could have pinene in there, and it'll raise your heartbeat and wake you up and make you feel anxious, and you might not have an enjoyable experience because you thought you were getting something else. So sorry, I just like went off the tangent.
Not at all. That's amazing.
Education is like,
yes, that's
my thing.
That's wonderful. And because that leads me, well, first off, let me go back a few steps. What would be your advice to anyone trying to get into that industry? Especially
do what you like. Literally, like the cannabis industry, you can do anything. I don't care if it's knitting. You could knit clothes for brands. You can knit rugs. You could do anything you want. Figure out whatever you love, whatever your passion is, and just start doing it. Just start doing it. And network with people who can help put what you're doing in front of other people. But don't make excuses like, oh, I got to get the money first. So I got to do this. There's ways to get around things and to get into things. And say you want to start a cannabis line and you don't have the money for licensing, find someone who has a license, partner with them, talk to them, tell them your idea, see if they'll allow you to give them a profit off of your profit in exchange for using their license. You can do white labeling, looking into things like that. There's ways to get into the industry. Just talk to the right people and don't wait. Like, don't make excuses.
Just jump in.
Just jump in, for sure.
That's good and timely advice. So another question that I have is, you said a lot of words that I can't say, I can't pronounce. And so the education aspect of cannabis, where did you get that? How did you get that? How does one come into it? Was it just by reading? How did you educate yourself on the ins and outs of cannabis in order to get you to the point of entrepreneurship and move forward?
So I throw events on a regular, and I purposely would throw a ton of events with people in the medical community that support cannabis, and I would listen to everything they say. I would take their courses. I would attend their events, right? And then I did a lot of self-education. It's a lot of nights of laying in bed watching videos and educating myself. And growing up around the plant, I've had access to the plant and seeing how to take care of the plant itself since a very young age. So I've been around the plant itself a long time, but purposely educating yourself, purposely going into situations where the education is there and available, and sitting down and taking notes, and who you hang out with. You know, there's a need for, especially people in our culture, to be educated about the plant, because they know about smoking it and what kind of backwood they want to put it in. But like, we really need our people just as educated as the other population that is dominating this industry, because our people and what we've been through is the reason behind that, and medical reasons. Black people in medical is why this shit's legal. Because of all the things that we've been through, people being put in jail, lives and families, kids being taken out of their homes, families being ripped apart, people losing their houses and their license and their cars and their life behind this plant. And now there's people who are millionaires. So it's not enough to just have access to smoke it. We need to know what this plant is, what it does, the functions of it, and be fully educated, just like these white folks are.
So that leads me to another, I guess might be a challenge, but it wouldn't be a challenge or an endeavor that I wouldn't want to try and help you see through. Having some type of literature that comes from you and your family about where you are now, or even about the plant, so that we can actually engage in that conversation in a more intelligent manner, and not just say, yeah, I'm smoking, I got some red hair, sis, I'm smashing this, or I got some hydro, or whatever the case. It's been decades since I've been able to do anything. I don't know about it no more, right? But have you thought about that process, coming out with your own literature, whether it be online or you just handing out literature for free so people can become educated, putting at a public library or holding events or something like that, or starting out by coming back onto the Family Bloodline podcast and spending a little more time with us and talking about it more in depth, because this is just a quick intro, right? And I can only really do intros today because there's so many people that I want to talk to. But would you be willing to do that? Both produce literature for the culture, for the people, by the people, as well as come back onto the Family Bloodline podcast so we can spend more time at length and get down to what you see are the foundations or the roots and the seeds of the issues at heart, and tell us what's actually at stake with not knowing or simply remaining ignorant to the ins and outs of cannabis in and of itself.
Yeah, number one thing, Black people are going to miss money. So that's going to be the number one thing. Like, they're making money off our stories and off our backs and literally off our skin. Yeah. And even if you don't consume cannabis, being fully educated about the plant, its nutrients, the health benefits, coming into the health and wellness part of the industry, and utilizing that part of the industry to even help your family get out of poverty type situations and things of that nature. I really just want to encourage that and be an inspiration for that. I would absolutely come back on here, and I would love to talk about the things that I think our everyday, which is the sativa indica battle.
Yeah.
What does that really mean, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe educate some people on what the top 5 terpenes are,
Mhm.
just so they can get familiar with the word terpenes and start knowing what they are. But yeah, definitely would. And I also would love to link you with some like doctors that can come on here and teach you about the endocannabinoid system, like more in depth. My speaking on the endocannabinoid system, I feel would be just okay in comparison to what I could align for your podcast.
Let's do
I
it.
would want to align the best person to talk, which would probably be Dr. Rachel Knox.
Okay.
That is my go-to. She's with AKIM. AKIM is, I don't want to talk too much about her stuff, but when I tell you guys, if you want education, you can look up Dr. Rachel Knox. She has a TED Talk as well that is featured on YouTube. You can look up Dr. Rachel Knox, the Knox family. It's a Black family of doctors. The mother, the daughter, daughters. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
2 dope daughters. And yeah, mom, dad, 2 daughters.
Love it.
Dope family.
Yeah, yes.
And they're in Portland, Oregon as well too.
Perfect.
But they travel everywhere. So
even better. So I would like to thank you for coming on to the Family Bloodline Podcast and being quick,
thank you.
15-minute guest. And again, we'll do this again. We'll do this again at length. And by all means, bring the doctors, shoot them our way. That way we can.
I don't want to interrupt you, but you did ask me about the materials, and I didn't answer that.
Let's get to it.
So the materials, I sit on our Oregon Health Authority's Oregon Cannabis Commission.
Yes, thank you for saying that. Reminded me of that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Committee. It's so long, so many initials. But on that sub-equity committee that I'm sitting on, we have been talking about creating materials even just for our state. And I would love to be able to get the ball rolling on materials for more than just Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
So I am working on stuff for Oregon, but I would love to do that. And the number one thing that, holds us back from doing things is capital. But if there's access to capital to be able to create the things and market them properly, then I would love to collab with the brand to get our people more educated and get some materials out there.
And it just so happened that Kentucky just passed cannabis law.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be more than happy to try and spearhead that in that region. Give me a few months. I still got to finish up this chapter in my life and retire out in a few months, hopefully. But I would love to help.
You're retiring?
I am absolutely retired.
Another podcast. I'll be back twice. Because it's going to be a party and he going to hire me to throw it.
Yeah. So I'm absolutely retiring and I'm excited about that. But yeah, I would be willing to try and spearhead that where I am in Kentucky. And I can speak for my cohorts in St. Louis that they'd be absolutely willing to try that as well. So yeah, we got to get you back on. But absolutely appreciate you. Once again, give everybody your information, how they can reach you, where they can find you, and all the other good stuff.
Man, come and find me on Instagram, MSS_Oregon, or on my website, diversifycannabis.org.
And as always, good people, you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you decided to hang out with us, and I definitely appreciate it. We at NAM 2025, J Glass the Movement, and Miss Oregon. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless and good night.